Okay, so Addison's disease and hypersecretion, this is going to result into your Cushing's syndrome. So Addison's disease and Cushing syndrome. Okay, but now guys, let's try to see what exactly is going to happen out over here in these two syndromes. Like what is the symptoms? Okay, so when we talk about your Addison's disease, the first and the foremost thing is you are going to see some acid bodies which are going to come up into your blood. So that is why this is going to result into acidosis. Second thing, you are going to say that you have low heart rate out over here. Okay, so acidosis, low heart rate, therefore you're going to have low blood pressure. Okay, but now because of this, like you are not going to have proper heart rate, you are always going to have low blood pressure. In this situation, guys, you are always going to feel weak. So this is going to be marred by weakness. Okay, slowly, if this condition keeps on aggravating, then you are going to see that the kidneys, they are not going to function properly, resulting into impaired kidney functions. Okay, and finally, guys, what you are also going to see, you're also going to see a loss of ions in your urine. This is one of the most important things that you will see. Okay, so these are some of the characteristic symptoms of this thing. But now, what you are also going to see is, okay, now let's try to see some other ones. Now, see, guys, every year it is observed that your textbook will have a little bit of changes here and there. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate all those changes inside. Yes, 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 yes. 1 minute. Okay, okay, but now apart from this, guys, what else are you going to see? Now is it better? The symptoms are going to be, see, the initial ones, they are going to be immediate. Impaired kidney functions are going to be a little later. Okay, so they are going to take a little while to show. But loss of ions, now basically what ions are we talking about? We're talking about your sodium ions, so this is going to be immediate. Okay, but now apart from this, like when this is going to happen, you are also going to see that this is going to result into weight loss. Okay, so weight loss, along with this, it is also going to result into nausea. Now basically when we talk about nausea, guys, what is nausea? Like you don't feel like eating anything. For example, let's imagine you have had a very nice scrumptious meal. Okay, so you have loads and loads of food, and then after your food, like when you're completely full up to the heart's content, and then someone asks you like, do you wish to eat this, do you wish to eat that? At that time you will feel like, no, 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 now I don't want to eat anything. That feeling is called as nausea. Okay, where you don't wish to have anything, that way. Okay, then this is also going to result into vomiting and finally diarrhea. Okay, so these are some of the important points that you're going to encounter in your Addison's disease. Okay, but now let's try to see on the other side, how is it going to be like? Okay, so in this thing, in your Cushing syndrome, guys, you are going to have alkalosis. Okay, so you have alkalosis. Here you had a low heart rate. Here you're going to have high heart rate. Okay, here you were having low BP. Here you're going to have high BP. Okay, here also it was weakness, guys. Here also it is going to be the same thing. Okay, you're not going to be like excessively active or something, so this is also going to result into weakness. Okay, but here there was impaired kidney function. But guys, here what is going to happen is there is going to be muscle wasting. So muscle wasting meaning what? Slowly, slowly your muscles, they are going to degrade gradually, or they're going to deteriorate. So ultimately this is going to result into your muscle paralysis. Okay, so muscle wasting, and finally ultimately resulting into muscle paralysis. Okay. Next thing, guys, here there was loss of ions in the urine. Here you're going to see there is a retention. Okay, so retention of ions in the urine. Okay, and finally, guys, this here there was weight loss. Here, this is going to be marred by obesity. So that's it. These are some of the changes. Okay, so and one more thing, that is like, because you're having obesity and this thing, the main cause for this is increase in your sugar content. That is why it is going to result in your obesity. So guys, these are some of the things that we are going to see in your Cushing syndrome. Okay, so the first part, guys, if you want this thing, okay, the first part, you can remember this as all will. Okay, you can just remember until here as all will, and then weight loss, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, that is going to be this thing. Okay, this is extra stuff. Okay, until here, okay, until retention of ions. So basically, till here, you can just, this is going to be, opposite of your all well. So whatever you're writing out over here, it's going to be exactly opposite. Okay. Will they suffer from diabetes too? No, 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 no. They will not suffer from diabetes at all in this case. We're just saying only the sugar level in the body is going to increase, not amounting to diabetes. Okay. Okay. So, guys, this is what we need to know with regards to your adrenal cortex. Okay, but now still we need to talk about your adrenal medulla. Sir, are there going to be any external changes in the body, like hands or legs of any of these guys? Yes. So see, if we look at your Cushing syndrome, we are looking at muscle wasting. Muscle wasting, that is muscle paralysis. So in this case, what you are going to see is that suddenly your muscles, arms, they are going to become very thin. Okay, and because they are going to be very thin, now they are going to start appearing a little deformed and all. So here, yes, you're going to see physical changes taking place. Along with that, you are also going to be like, a little bit obese in this case. So these are some physical changes that will happen. Here you're going to be losing weight, so you're going to become really, really thin and all. That is going to happen in this. Okay, so guys, now with this, let's try to move on to your adrenal medulla, and let's try to see what is this adrenal medulla going to do. Okay, so we said adrenal medulla, guys, we are going to have your adrenaline, and it is going to produce your noradrenaline. Okay, both of them, they are going to work almost in the same thing, except that adrenaline is going to be your emergency hormone, noradrenaline is going to regulate your blood pressure. But both of them, more or less, they act on the same lines. Okay, but now let's try to see the most important thing, that is your adrenaline. Like, what it is really going to do, how does it really work? Okay, so first, adrenal medulla, it produces two things. First one, we have adrenaline, and noradrenaline. Okay, but now what did I tell you guys? I told you that these they have another name also. Adrenaline, this is also known as epinephrine. Guys, this is a very important MCQ in your NEET exams. Okay, so epinephrine, and this is also known as your norepinephrine. Okay, but now once again, adrenaline, guys, this is the most important. This I just mentioned in one word. This is going to regulate your blood pressure, and at the same time, this is going to act as a vasoconstrictor. So by narrowing down the sizes of your blood vessels, it is going to increase your blood pressure. So that is what generally it does. Okay, but now this adrenaline, guys, remember adrenaline, this is known as your emergency hormone. Okay, but now, okay, if it is an emergency hormone, what is it really going to do? So let's try to see. Okay, so this is your emergency hormone. Now, when I say emergency hormone, guys, this is not going to be produced in your body every now and then. So there are only going to be certain circumstances where this is going to be pronounced. Okay, but now what is going to happen? So when is this thing really going to be produced? So guys, this is going to be produced in the case of fight, or this is going to be in the case of your flight. So fight, flight, or fright, then only this hormone is going to be produced. And because it is produced in these conditions, guys, this is also known as 3F hormone. Okay, so once again, very, very important question. Which is the 3F hormone in your body? Okay, so it is going to be your same thing, that is your adrenaline. Okay, but now let's try to understand how does this adrenaline really work? Like what exactly is happening out over here? Okay, so guys, for example, let's say, let's take one example. Okay, my question to you is, guys, has it ever happened that uh, there is a mad dog and the mad dog has ran after you? So if that is the situation, what will happen? Let's try to see. Guys, let's imagine this is you out over here. And let's imagine we have a dog, a mad dog out over here. Let's imagine. Okay. Now, the moment you see that this mad dog starts running towards you, guys, what are you going to do? Are you just going to stand out over there and you're going to, oh, you such a cute dog? Absolutely no, right? You are not going to stand out over there. You are just going to zoom. You are going to become Usain Bolt. In the next moment, guys, you are going to be like running like hell. Okay, and you are going to be like in such a speed, guys, that you yourself won't believe that you have attained those speeds. I remember, guys, when I was a kid. Okay, uh, I was or pick up a stone and throw at him. That would not be a real good idea, because if you just stand out over there and you see this guy running after you, that wouldn't really, like standing just out over there wouldn't really help. Okay, if he's just stationary and you're throwing stone at him, then that would make him deter, but this would be a little bad. Okay, but now, guys, let me just give you an idea. When I was a kid, somewhere around 7th standard, like I always tell this experience to my kids. Now what happened was, guys, while I was I had gone to Vasai at that time. Okay, and in Vasai, what happens is, just like how we have your stray dogs, stray cats, there are stray pigs. Okay, so let's say there are like stray pigs. Okay, now one fine day, what happened was, guys, I was just taking a stroll out over there. Okay, and I happened to be on one of the pavements, basically, okay, of a building. And then next to the building there was a nice nala. Okay, this is like completely bad nala, okay, filled with all your like dirty water and stagnant water, completely black stuff, oozing out bad odor. I had just reached out over there. Okay, and now what happened was, guys, suddenly I happened to see that, oh, there is a pig out over there. And this pig, he was gruntling at me. He's doing some kind of noises, weird noises. The moment I heard this thing, guys, I knew that, oh, this thing is going to attack me. Okay. Now what happened was, guys, I was like, okay, chalo, now if even if he attacks me, still fine, I'll have to run. Okay. But now let's imagine, guys, this is the entire pavement. At the end, there is this nala. The moment I see this, he starts charging. And guys, these pigs, they are not like, like in a ek 10 kilo, 15 kilo. These are like hatta katta, like, really, really 40, 50 kilos. Just imagine this 40, 50 kilos. I was somewhere in 7th standard. I must have been hardly weighing like, 35, 40 kgs. Okay. This, if he runs onto me, he's going to trample me. Okay, guys, suddenly I know I have to run. I start running. Yeah, zob, 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 zob. I have no idea. Okay, I am running like crazy. Okay, and now I know that the platform is going to end out over here. This entire pavement ends out over here. Now what? Now either I have to jump into this nala or I have to jump onto the other side. One more thing that I was doing, guys, I was like, aye, what's up, what's up? Okay, that was another thing. Okay, so that was all happening out over there. Okay, now, guys, I just came out over here, and then after that, guys, I don't know. Okay, after that, I don't remember anything. The next thing I remember, guys, I had jumped from this place to this another place. And the only thing I remember, guys, was landing onto this part and looking behind. And when I looked behind, guys, I saw this pig. He had come out over here and he screeched and he stopped out over here. This, under normal circumstances, guys, there was not a single possibility that I would have ever crossed this nala, because this was really, really huge. It was really huge. For a person like me, a 7th standard person would not be able to clear this. But somehow it happened. Now, who gave you this energy, guys? It was your adrenaline. Adrenaline is the one who's going to give you so much amount of energy that you can conquer unimaginable feats. This is how it happens, guys. Okay. In another case, guys, there was a mad dog who was running after me. Okay. And we used to call this dog Dreadful. So he was like a really, really dangerous kind of a dog. He had like a reputation of like biting even small school going kids. Now what happened was, guys, we were playing cricket. Okay. And it happened so that this dog, he was like so lying out over there. He was resting, easy, easy, easy. Okay. And it happened so that the ball had fallen somewhere in front of him. Okay, fine. Now it was my time to go and bring the ball. So I slowly go out over here. Oh, okay. And I try to pick up the ball. Guys, and the next moment, what I hear, this person growling. And I know he had a reputation to be dreadful. The moment I heard him, I picked up the ball and I started running. Guys, I was a little hefty and I still maintained it that way. Okay, now what happened was, guys, I am running, but now I know this mad dog. This mad dog, he started running after me. Yeah, duk, 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 duk. And guys, I remember the last thing I remember was his face had touched my calf. I could sense his, nose on my calf, and he just touched it. Guys, the moment he touched it, immediately, I don't know what happened. My chappals flew zoop, 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 and I was like zash in a flash, guys. I just ran out from there, and the next thing I remember, I had reached my building and I was in the passage of my building. In between, what happened, no clue. That is, once again, guys, who gave me that much amount of energy? It is your adrenaline. So, what is this? This is nothing but your flight. Yes, absolutely. So, this is nothing but flight. So, you are going to be experiencing these kinds of things, guys, when you are like, doing different activities like, running and all. So, guys, my question to you is, once again, have you guys ever participated in a 100-meter race? Okay. So let's imagine you are in a 100-meter race, you are running. Let's imagine you are first. Okay, you are running, yeah, dug, 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 dug. And suddenly you happen to see besides you, and you see there is another person who is like, coming with full speed and he's about to overtake. In that case, guys, what happens? Yala, karma that. And then what? Zoosh, as if you are punched into nitro, and then what? You go zoom. Now, who gives you this energy, guys? This energy is once again given by your adrenaline. Okay, so all this thing, this is nothing but your flight. Okay, let's say we're talking about fright. So, guys, there may have been so many instances, like when you play different kinds of pranks on your friends. Okay, so one of the best prank is like you are hiding behind the door, and the moment another person comes into the room, you are going to go. Bah! But guys, the moment you see this, okay, guys, the moment you see this, you see that the other person is completely shell shocked, meaning the other person cannot move for a moment. He has frozen. What is that, guys? That is nothing but your fright. Okay, fright is fear. Okay, now one thing that you will always notice that the moment you have this fright, guys, you will see that the person's color is going to fade off, his heartbeat is going to increase, then for a moment the person is not be going to able to speak. Okay, so all these changes will be seen in out over here. And the last thing, guys, the last thing you are going to see, fight. Now let's imagine, guys, you are in a boxing match. Okay, let's imagine. Now initially, what happens? The level of energy in a boxer is actually going to be a little low, meaning not like a low, 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 but it is a little low. But the moment you see that people start cheering him, yeah, yeah, come on, come on, come on, come on, and the moment he's throwing punches and it is landing on the other person, guys, people are cheering. What happens? Suddenly, the energy level increases. The desire to fight increases. That is going to be this. Now, I will give you one very nice example. Okay, this once again had happened with me, and this is like a very very funny thing. I'd never expected it to happen that way, but it happened somehow. Okay. So what happened was, once upon a time I had gone for a picnic. Okay. And that too I had gone to Canary Caves. Okay. So we have Borivali National Park. In Borivali National Park, we have these Canary Caves, old caves. Okay. Now, if anyone of you has gone to Canary Caves, what you will realize, okay, that there is a huge ground out over here. Okay. And then there is one store which sells all your food articles, like your chips and chakli. Then you have cold drinks and all, ice cream, everything is like sold out over there. Okay. And besides that, there is a huge ground and nothing else apart from that. Okay. So now what happened was, guys, when I had been there, like along with all my friends and all, guys, it was the mating period of monkeys. Okay. Now I had no idea that it was the heat period. Okay. There are loads and loads of monkeys, guys. If you ever go to Canary Caves, you'll notice this. So what happened was, like once we were done with all our like trekking and all that stuff, like sightseeing and all, we were heading back. Okay. Now I wanted to have thumbs up. Okay, so I wanted to go to this place and I want to buy thumbs up. Okay, now there are two things. There is a road which is going to go like this. So what happens is, like if you don't want, you can just take this road and you can exit the caves, basically that entire place. Okay, but I wanted to go and have thumbs up. So what happened was, I wanted to go like this. But now, in order to go, I had to cross this entire ground. But you know what was the thing, guys? Here there were all monkeys sitting out over here, all monkeys. Okay. Now I was a little naive person at that time, so I did not understand, like why are they sitting. Today if I encounter this, I will definitely make sure not to go in that area. Okay. So all of these people, they were like sitting out over here, they were enjoying, relaxing out over there. Now what happened, guys? I was out over here, and I just happened to step in out over here. I just stepped in. The moment I stepped in, guys, monkeys from here and here, they started like like growling at me. They were like showing their teeth and they were like and I was like, oh my god, okay, something is wrong. Okay, but still the desire to have thumbs up was like in even even more. So I was like, okay, okay, I'll just go side say. I just changed my path out over here, and I just looked at this guy out over here, sitting out over here. Now, actually, what happens is like whenever there is any wild animal which is like looking directly at you, you should never look into his eyes. Okay, but at that time I did not know that. So I just happened to move out over here and I just looked at this. This guy, he thought that, oh, this is a duel. Basically, it is an opportunity to fight. And guys, now this thing, he comes jumping and running. Yeah, dub, 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 dub. And guys, after that, I have no instance. I was standing out over here like this. There was a backpack, okay, on my back, and I could see him running, guys. And the next moment, what happened was somehow this backpack, zook, it just came into my hand like as if it is like magic. Poof. This backpack comes into my hand, and the next thing I see is like I am like fighting with this monkey. Yeah, zoop, 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 hitting him with the bag. Till date I don't know like how it really happened, that in the flash of a moment this backpack, it came into my hand and I started hitting this guy. So once again, who was the one who gave me that kind of energy and the ability to fight and to resist? Once again, that is nothing but your adrenaline. So guys, this adrenaline is going to done a lot of is going to do a lot of wonders in different situations. Okay, another thing that I think every one of you must have experienced, like when we talk about fright. See, I hope everybody has gone to recreational park like SL World or Ad Labs Imagica. Okay, right? So basically, everyone must have sat on this thunder. Okay, so basically a roller coaster. So guys, what happens is, see, let's imagine we have this roller coaster, something like this. Initially, what happens, guys? The roller coaster, basically it is going to go up. When it is going to go up, like it is going to go like really really slowly, and then sometimes you think, "Arey, kya thakela ride hai?" Okay, so until it reaches the top, guys, it is like really really slow. But now the next moment, the moment it is like going to come down, yeah, zush, suddenly what happens, guys? Suddenly, I love you, Bazul, I love you. All these things, all these all these thoughts, all these things, they start coming into your mind. Suddenly you have butterflies in your stomach, everything is like moving in and out, up and down into your body. And that kind of a feeling, guys, that is once again nothing but given by your adrenaline. Okay, so this is how it, yes, this is how it really happens. Okay, so guys, these are some of the examples that you need to remember. In your NEET exams, guys, they do ask you which hormone is going to be produced in certain condition. So you need to find out whether this is fight, flight, or fright. Okay, but now, guys, what are the changes that are going to happen when adrenaline is poured into your body? So the first thing, guys, you are going to see that as adrenaline is poured into your body, you are going to have increase in heart rate. So heart rate increases. Now, if the heart rate increases, guys, you are going to see that the blood pressure increases. Heart rate increases, blood pressure increases. Blood pressure increases, respiration increases. So you are like respiring that way. Okay, if respiration increases, now let's say, guys, you are about to fight someone. Heart rate has increased, blood pressure has increased, respiration has increased, but now you require more energy into your muscles. So you are going to see that in this case, more and more blood is going to be pumped inside the muscles rather than your skin. It is more and more blood is pumped to the muscles rather than the skin. Okay, so that now muscles can utilize that blood energy, and it can help you in fighting. But now, because it has not provided any blood to your skin, guys, what is going to happen to your skin color? Immediately you are going to see that because of this, the skin color, it fades. Suddenly there is a change in 2 3 shades in your color. Okay, but now for fighting, you're also going to require energy. So what you're going to see is who is going to provide energy. It is going to be your liver. So in that case, your liver immediately it is going to break down your glycogen. Okay, so immediately it is going to break down glycogen, and when glycogen is broken, immediately it is going to be converted into your glucose. The moment we have glucose, glucose is immediately poured into your blood, and now your blood glucose level also increases this way. So this is all what is going to happen in your adrenaline, guys. Also, you are going to see few more things that are happening, like your dilation of pupils is going to take place. Along with that, vasoconstriction is going to occur. The gastric immobility you are going to experience, because at the time of fighting, your body is not going to say, "Arey, 5 minute wait kar, मैं digestion kar leta hu." It's not going to happen that way. So all these activities they are going to stop. Okay, you are going to see that suddenly Salah, your mouth is going to become like really really dry. Okay, these are all other symptoms that you're going to see. Okay, so you're going to see mouth, this is going to dry up, okay, because of less amounts of saliva. You're also going to see that gastric mobility, that is also going to stop. Okay, so you'll also see vasoconstriction, etc. Okay, but my question to you guys is, guys, have you ever been in a hand-to-hand fight? Females, I don't expect, but at least males, if anybody has ever been in a hand-to-hand fight with someone, it generally happens, even while you're like, playing games and all. Sometimes you fight with your friends. Okay, if you have, guys, like if you have really really fought, okay, what you will experience is you will experience that even after the fight is over, your muscles are trembling, your hand is trembling, muscles are trembling, you are shivering. Have you ever observed that? Yes. Why is it so? Guys, because the liver has broken down glycogen and given you so much amount of glucose, so much amount of energy, that now your entire body becomes like an unstable kind of thing. Muscles are having excessive energy, because of which you start shivering, guys. Okay, so that is one thing that you will see. In other cases, like especially in those cases where females are fighting, guys, okay, what is going to happen? Suddenly you're going to see that you are fighting, yeah, blah 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 blah, and you are like shouting and shouting, and then what happens? Suddenly your voice fades away. You are like suddenly you realize that your voice has gone away. You're trying to speak, voice has gone away. That is also because of your adrenaline, guys. Okay, so all these are changes which are mediated by adrenaline. Okay, fine, everybody. Okay, chalo. So just have a look at this, guys. So this is what we needed to know with regards. One more thing. Okay, in your exams, guys, in your NEET exams, they will ask you a question that this epinephrine and norepinephrine, they belong to what class of compounds? Okay, so always remember they belong to a class of compounds called catecholamines. Okay, so basically these are separate compounds of like your amines basically. So just keep this thing in mind. Catecholamines. This is another important question always asked. Okay, chalo. So just have a look at this. And with this, guys, what are we? We are done with your adrenal glands. We are done with your pancreas. We are done with your thyroid gland. Okay. Now we are going to slowly move into 1 minute your other glands and your pituitary. Yeah, yes, thymus. Thymus was a small one. Okay, these were the major ones. So likewise, we've also done your parathyroid gland as well. Okay, if there's hyposecretion, what effects will it have or on noradrenaline? See, now basically what happens now, why we did not put any kind of hypo secretion or hyper secretion. The reason is this is a very occasional hormone, so it will be produced only under certain conditions. So basically, we cannot generally say that because of it you will be affected in some manner or the other. We generally do not say that. But still, if you want hyposecretion and hypersecretion, hyposecretion will result into less production of adrenaline, meaning you're going to be less responsive. Okay, less responsive to fear, less responsive to fight, less responsive to like running away. So that way. And if you are if you are having hyper secretion, then that is going to result into anxiety, nervousness, fear, all those things. But generally we don't talk about it because this is only going to be produced in certain conditions. That is why. Okay, guys, after this we will slowly move on to your next one, that is your pituitary gland. Really, really important. Okay, so what I'll do is, guys, see in your textbooks and everywhere, if you look at this entire thing, guys, like how your pituitary gland is, they have given in the worst possible manner ever. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to just arrange everything in order, and we're going to study everything in a proper manner. So that is what we are going to do. Okay, guys, once again, this is one of the most important organs ever. Huge amounts of questions from this part, especially you will have like a 4 mark question on this thing. Okay, apart from that, guys, earlier in your earlier versions we used to get a 7 mark essay stating that write a short note on hormones of the pituitary gland. Okay, however, that is not possible for you guys, but then you can still expect a 4 mark question from this part. Okay, chalo. So guys, let's try to see your pituitary gland. Now, where is it? How is it? What is going to happen? Let's try to figure this thing. Okay, so now first thing that you always need to remember, guys, that this pituitary gland, this is going to be both. It is going to be ectodermal as well as endodermal in origin. Which part is ectodermal, which part is endodermal, we will see in a while. Ectodermal and endodermal in origin. Okay, and because of this we always say that this is dual dual origin, basically it. Okay, but now where exactly are we going to see? So guys, let me just give you a quick recap of where we had seen this thing. So we had said that okay, अरे रे ये तो 3 lips हो गया. हाँ. So we had said that, guys, here you are going to have your brain, and hanging from the base of the brain, that is hanging from the hypothalamus, you are going to have a small P-shaped gland. That was nothing but it was your the pituitary gland. Okay, so pituitary is out over here, and guys, exactly opposite. Okay, this is your hypothalamus, and exactly opposite on the top out over here, we are going to have the pineal gland. Okay, so this was the arrangement. Now we have to zoom in onto this, and guys, we have to see where exactly it is going to be, what really happens out over there. Okay, so first of all, guys, we need to see that okay, this entire nose, okay, this nose, guys, behind this there is going to be a bone. Okay, and that bone basically it is called as your sphenoid bone. So let's I'll just show you. Okay, so this is nothing but your sphenoid bone. Okay, so let's imagine. So like this. Okay, so when we talked about your the bones of the skull, guys, we have talked about the sphenoid bone being present. Yes, very nice, very nice, very nice. Yeah, Sneha, very nice. Okay, so we have this sphenoid bone, and guys, we have said that this sphenoid bone it has a cavity like this. This cavity we had called this thing as sella turcica. So you are going to have the sphenoid bone. In the sphenoid bone, there is a cavity which is called as the sella turcica, and inside the sella turcica, we are going to see that we have our pituitary gland lodged out over there. So once again, how is the pituitary going to be, guys? So first, you are going to see that you are going to have a part of the hypothalamus. Guys, hypothalamus is one of the lower parts of the brain. Okay, fine. So we have hypothalamus. Now, guys, here I won't show the this thing, the pineal gland. Okay, I'll just show only the pituitary. So we have the hypothalamus, guys, and now hanging from the base of the hypothalamus, you are going to see the P-shaped gland. Okay, but how is it, guys? You are going to see that, okay, even if it is P-shaped, it is hanging with the help of a stalk-like structure. So what is this dandy or this stalk? This stalk-like structure, guys, this is nothing but we call this thing as your hypophyseal stalk. Okay, so this is your hypophyseal stalk. Or there is another name given to this. This is also known as infundibulum. Okay, so hypophyseal stalk or infundibulum. And then hanging below, you are going to see your pituitary. Okay, so this entire thing, this is going to be our pituitary. Okay, but now, guys, what happens, when we talk about this pituitary gland, the pituitary gland itself is going to be divided into your three more parts. Okay, three more parts. Okay, fine. Let's try to see. So, guys, what are you going to see? You are going to see that here, right from the center, you are going to have some kind of a demarcation. Okay, now this is a very narrow cleft kind of a thing. In humans, this is not really functional, but functional in your lower organisms. So, because there is a cleft-like structure out over here, guys, what are we going to see? You are going to see that this entire pituitary is actually divided into your three parts. So see, we have this front part. Now, guys, remember the part which is facing the nose. The part which faces the nose, this is called as your anterior lobe. Okay. Then the second region, which is going to be acting like a small cleft, this is going to be your intermediate lobe. So anterior lobe, intermediate lobe. And the one which is going to be like, looking at the back, this one, this is known as your posterior lobe. Okay. So traditionally, we have been dividing this in this manner: anterior lobe, intermediate lobe, and posterior lobe. But now, guys, we are going to see that this anterior lobe, this also has another name. And what is this called? Anterior lobe, guys, we call this thing as adenohypophysis. Adenohypophysis. And now the posterior lobe, this is going to be known as your neurohypophysis. Adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. So, guys, basically, this is going to be the initial thing. But now, guys, we still have to zoom in into this and we still need to know what are the different parts out of there, because adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis, they themselves have certain parts out over there. Okay, so you will see how it is going to work. So, guys, let's try to zoom in into this and let's try to see what really happens. Okay, so now I have just zoomed into your pituitary gland. Something of this sort. And let me just show you the intermediate lobe. Okay, so the intermediate lobe is somewhere out over here, just a narrow cleft. Okay, something of this sort. Okay, so guys, the front portion, we said it is going to be your adenohypophysis, right? But now, this adenohypophysis, guys, this is further going to be divided into your three more parts. Okay, so what are the three more parts? So guys, the first thing that you're going to see is you are going to see that right on the front, like where we have this like the hypophyseal stalk, surrounding the hypophyseal stalk, you're going to have a little collar like structure. This collar like structure present at the sides, this is called as your pars tuberalis. Okay, so this is pars tuberalis. Let's come down out over here, guys. This is the largest part of your adenohypophysis. This is called as pars distalis. Okay, so pars tuberalis, pars distalis, and then we have this cleft. Now see, we had earlier called this thing as your intermediate lobe, right? So this is known as your pars intermedia. This is our pars intermedia. And guys, all of them together, all the three together, they are going to form your adenohypophysis. Okay, but guys, when we talk about adenohypophysis, always remember adenohypophysis, this is going to account for 1 minute. This is going to account for almost 75% of your entire pituitary. Okay, so this is nothing but your adenohypophysis. Okay, and this is going to account for 75% of your total pituitary gland. Okay, but now let's try to move to the other side. See, the back part, we said this is going to be your posterior lobe of pituitary. So what is this going to be made up of? So guys, this one, okay, the back side one, this is known as your pars nervosa. So we have pars nervosa. Then guys, what are we going to see after your pars nervosa? We have this thing out over here. So this is your uh, pars distalis. Second one, pars distalis. Then pars intermedia. Okay, then we have guys out over here pars nervosa, and this is going to be that stalk-like structure, guys. So we call this thing as your infundibulum. Okay, like I already said, we call this thing infundibulum or your hypophyseal stalk. Okay, but now there is going to be one more structure that we are going to come across. So guys, what happens? See here, this is, let's imagine this is your entire hypothalamus. Okay, and this is how the pituitary is going to look like. Okay, but now where the pituitary is going to meet with your hypothalamus, guys, right at that place, you are going to see one swollen portion, some swollen portion out over here. This swollen portion, guys, we call this thing as median eminence. Okay, so this becomes median eminence. And all these three, guys, all these three, they are going to form your neurohypophysis. Guys, neurohypophysis, this is going to account only and only 25% of your entire pituitary. Okay, so first thing, guys, this is how it is going to be like. Okay, so guys, first before we move ahead, I want you to have a look at this, just see if you're okay with the arrangement. Okay, because only if you're okay with this thing, guys, then only we can move ahead. Otherwise, this is going to be a little troublesome. Median eminence. That is the third part. Infundibulum. Median eminence, infundibulum, and pars nervosa. Okay, everybody all right with the arrangement? Fine, let's try to move ahead. Guys, always remember, okay, one more thing which is very, very important, crucial. Whenever we talk about your this thing, the location, again, now when we talk about the location and all, we'll talk about this thing. Guys, where we have this hypothalamus, okay, always remember, right out over here at the start of the hypothalamus, you are going to have this egg-shaped structure. We call this egg-shaped structure as X-shaped optic chiasma. Okay, and what is this egg-shaped optic chiasma? This is the place where your optic nerves, they cross over one another. So when we talk about the location of your pituitary gland, it is going to be like, hanging from the base of your hypothalamus behind the egg-shaped optic chiasma. Okay, chalo. So guys, let's try to see a few more things that we need to know about your pituitary gland. Okay, so first thing, guys, I said, this is going to be dual in origin. Okay, so both dual origin, basically both ectodermal and both ectodermal and endodermal. But then, guys, when we talk about the size, how big is this going to be? If you look at this, this is going to be just the size of a small pea. That is it, nothing more than that. And if you look at its weight, guys, how heavy is this thing going to be? It is just going to be half gram. Guys, my question to you is, has it ever happened that when you were small, your parents have told you, don't take a pencil and put it into your nose, or don't take pointed, sharp objects, put it into your nose? Have they ever told you anything of that sort? Yes? Yes, 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 yes. Always, always. Right, right, right. Why? Right? The reason for this is, guys, if you take any kind of your pointed object or a sharp object or a strong object and you poke it through your nose, guys, you are actually going to go through the sphenoid bone and you hit the pituitary. And once you hit the pituitary, you're going to knock it off. And guys, this pituitary is responsible for the production of large number of hormones, which also includes your gonadotropins. Gonadotropins meaning these are going to influence your secondary sexual characters. So if that is not going to be produced, then guys, you'll never have those male or female like characteristics. So that is why, guys, this is very, very important. This was the main reason why they used to tell this thing. And guys, the only way direct access to your brain is through your nose. So, if you know, we had the Egyptians, they used to mummify dead bodies. So, how they used to remove the brain, guys? They used to take a hook, and that hook used to go from here and it used to enter into the brain. Then, just like how you roll your noodles onto your fork, the same way they used to take this and they used to roll it inside your brain, and yeah, kachak, they used to pull it. Your entire brain used to come out through the nose. It was that way. Okay, so this is how they used to do it, guys. Okay, but now once again, guys, when we talk about the color, how is this going to be? This is going to be somewhat reddish gray, reddish gray in color. Okay, now when we talk about this pituitary gland, guys, I am sure, okay, sir, sometimes they do biopsy through the brain to check brain cancer through the nose. Yes, it depends. Okay, it depends where exactly is the thing located. So depending upon that, they will select a proper route. So for example, if we look at Hrithik Roshan, so basically he had, like, let's say this is the brain, this is, he had a tumor out over here. So in that case, there was a small hole which was drilled into his skull. Through here, they did this operation. So that way. So it depends upon where it is going to be present. Okay. So if it is easily accessible through the nose, then yes, we can definitely go through that part as well. Okay. Okay, chalo. So now, guys, you must have always heard that pituitary is the master gland. In your lower standards, also, you must have heard about this. However, guys, remember earlier when we started studying endocrinology, at that time, what happened was people were not really aware of all the different, like, endocrine organs. So at that time, what happened was, guys, they knew about the pituitary gland, and they also knew that pituitary produces large number of hormones which influences other endocrine glands to produce their hormones. Basically, such kind of hormones, we call them as your tropic hormones. Okay, so they thought that, oh, because pituitary is producing all these kinds of tropic hormones, this is going to be the main most important gland. And that is why earlier, okay, earlier they used to call this thing as master gland. Okay, earlier it was called as master gland. But now, guys, what happened was, okay, slowly as science progressed, as science advanced, we realized that, oh, it is not the actual master gland, because this is further under the control of your hypothalamus. So now today, if we talk about the master gland, the real master gland is your hypothalamus, because hypothalamus controls your your this thing, your pituitary, and pituitary is then going to control all your other endocrine glands. So now what do we call this thing? Today we call the same pituitary as your coordinator of endocrine orchestra. Okay, so today we call him as the coordinator of endocrine orchestra. Okay, so guys, keep this thing in mind, very very important from your neat point of view. Okay, fine. After this, guys, we have already spoken of the location. How is it going to be? It is going to be present in the cavity, that is sella turcica of your sphenoid bone, hanging from the base of the hypothalamus with the help of your hypophyseal stalk, located behind the egg-shaped optic chiasma. Okay, so location we have already spoken of. Okay. But then, guys, the next thing that we need to talk about is, like, how are the three lobes out over there? So we said, okay, we are going to have your the adenohypophysis, we have the neurohypophysis or anterior lobe, intermediate lobe, and the posterior lobe. So we need to talk a little bit in depth regarding all of these. So first, let's try to move on to your adenohypophysis, and let's try to see how is adenohypophysis going to be like. Okay, so parts of pituitary. Okay, so guys, if you want a quick view of this thing, so I will just take this picture and I will post it down. Okay, so that you have a quick recap of where this is really going to be like. Okay, but still we have to see a little bit more part inside of it. Okay, so that will give us an idea. Okay, so once again, guys, we have said that adenohypophysis it's going to include three parts: parts tuberalis, parts distalis, and parts intermedia. And all of this is going to account for around 75% of your total your pituitary gland. Okay, sure. So first thing, guys, we always need to know that this is going to account for 75%. This is going to be the largest part of your pituitary. But now, guys, I told you that this is going to be like, a dual in origin. So one is ectodermal, one is endodermal. Where does this adenohypophysis come from? So, guys, this is the one which is going to come from the buccal cavity. Always remember, very, very important. So it develops from the buccal cavity, that is nothing but your mouth. Okay, guys? And in your mouth, basically, you are going to see that there is a pouch in the buccal cavity. So let's imagine this. Let's say this is your mouth, guys. Okay. And here there is a small cavity kind of a thing which is called as a Rathke's pouch. Okay. So while you were in the embryo form, this was what was happening. So from the Rathke's pouch, basically this grew upwards, and from here it entered into your brain. एक second, just guys, one moment. Okay, so guys, this is how it is going to be from your endodermal origin. Okay, so always keep this thing in mind. Okay, but now, so basically, and later on, what happens is like, you are going to see that this Rathke spouse and all, once the development is complete, then it is going to go away. Okay, so it is going to be seen only at the time when you are in the embryo form. Okay. But now the next important thing, guys, we need to just zoom in into a little bit, and we need to see what is each part really going to be like, what really happens. So that is a little more important. Okay. So once again, I'm going to just zoom in into that picture. And now only and only your adenohypophysis. Okay. So once again, guys, in your adenohypophysis, first of all, ओके थोड़ा सा इसको नीचे कर देता हूँ थोड़ा सा ओके ओके सो लेट्स okay, so once again out over here, guys, so you are going to see, first of all, you are going to have a small collar like structure, right? Okay, so what did we say? This is nothing but this is our pars tuberalis. Okay, but now what is this pars tuberalis? How is it going to be? What really happens out over here? Let's try to see. So when we talk about pars tuberalis, guys, this is just nothing but a covering. Okay, so it is a covering on the hypophyseal stalk. Okay. But now, guys, we can just imagine this thing to be like a small collar. That's it. That is what we need to know about your pars tuberalis. It's just a small collar-like structure covering the outer portion of your hypophyseal stalk. Okay, fine. Let's try to move ahead. Okay, after this, guys, we are going to move on to the next thing. Okay, that is your pars distalis. Now, guys, pars distalis, this is going to be the largest part. Okay, pars distalis, this is largest part of pituitary. That is your adenohypophysis. Okay, fine. But now the second important thing is, guys, inside this. Okay, so now let's focus on this thing, guys. So here, right in the center, we said, okay, you are going to have this intermediate lobe, which is going to be like a running down like this. Okay, but now in this thing, guys, what are you also going to come across? You are going to come across that inside here there are loose cords, okay, of epithelioid secretory cells. Okay, and here these basically, you are going to see that there are some connections, something of this sort, like this. Okay, and here in between these, basically, there are going to be some spaces which are going to be filled with your blood. So separated by blood sinusoids. Okay, so I will just once again explain what exactly is happening. Hey, so you are going to see that there is a network of this blood capillaries and all. Okay, all of this that is going to happen here. Okay, so once again, this is the largest part of your adenohypophysis. Second thing, this is going to show you loose cords of epithelioid secretory cells. Okay, because see, at the end of the day, these are all going to produce your different kinds of hormones. Okay, epithelioid separated by. Okay, so basically here you're going to see different cells. These are separated by this network kind of a thing of blood vessels. So separated by reticular connective tissue. Guys, remember this wordings are very important. Okay, connective tissue, reticular connective tissue network of blood sinusoids. Okay, if for any reason, guys, okay, if for any reason you feel that you do not remember this statement properly, you can just say that this is the one which shows reticular connective tissues and shows the presence of blood sinusoids and your epithelioid secretory cells. That's it. You don't have to talk about anything else then. Okay, so I told you, we are going to see these cells, epithelioid secretory cells and all, right? But there are other cells along with this as well, but I will just put it down in a moment. Okay, so okay, so the different types of cells that we are going to encounter: epithelioid secretory cells. Second thing, we are also going to encounter basophils out over here. We are going to have acidophils, that is your eosinophils, guys. And along with this, we also have some chromatophores to give them different colors kind of thing. Guys, this is important. In your NEET exams, they ask you this: find the odd man out. Okay, so they will give you 3 from here and 1 from somewhere else. You have to identify. And guys, they will always ask you a question on chromatophores. Okay, so chromatophores are found in what? Okay, but now see, we are saying that that this the pituitary gland, ultimately it is going to be under the control of your hypothalamus. So we need to have some kind of connection out over there. So guys, we are going to have one fine connection, and which is that you are going to see that there is a vein. Okay, and that vein, guys, how is it? You are going to see some capillaries out over here, okay, which are going to be in the hypothalamus. Then you're going to see this vein coming out over here, and then once again this vein is going to give rise to a number of capillaries out here. Okay, so guys, do you recollect which kind of vein is this thing by any chance? Anybody? We had seen this kind of a vein in your digestive system. Anyone? Anybody? Yes, very nice. Parnavi has given me half a right answer because she hasn't completed it. Anybody? It is going to take the food from the stomach and the intestines to the liver, guys. Yes. Anybody? Yes, very nice. Hepatic portal vein. So yes, this is also your portal vein only. Guys, always remember what is this? This is nothing but a vein which starts in capillaries and ends in capillaries. Such kind of a vein is your portal vein. But now, because this is in your hypophysis is nothing but your pituitary. So we call this thing as your hypophyseal portal vein. Hypophyseal portal vein. So guys, very important, you are going to see the presence of hypophyseal portal vein here. Okay, so let me just put this thing down once again. Okay, so this is connected with the help of hypophyseal portal vein. Okay, and if you want, once again, what is this portal vein? It starts and ends in capillaries. Okay, so this is a portal vein. Anyways, so guys, this is what we need to know with regards to your entire pars distalis. But then after that, we are going to have this small region, guys. We said, what is this? This is a very narrow cleft. This is your pars intermedia, or we've also called this thing as your intermediate lobe. Okay, so what happens out over here, guys? So in humans, basically this is a narrow, very narrow cleft, and because it is a narrow cleft, guys, this is going to be non-functional. Okay, so I will just say this is going to be highly reduced and non-functional in humans. However, guys, in lower organisms, this is completely functional. Like, for example, your dogs, cats, okay, lower organisms, yes, it is going to be functional. And now, if you're talking about lower organisms, what is it going to do? Guys, this is the one which produces a hormone called as intermedin. Okay, and this hormone intermedin, guys, this is responsible for skin color. Okay, not in us, huh? Not in us, it is in your lower organism. Okay, in us it is going to be your melatonin. Okay, we have melatonin, melanocytes stimulating hormone. Okay, so those are different ones. Here you have to look out for intermedin. Everybody okay with this thing, guys? So this is what we need to know with regards to your entire adenohypophysis. Guys, once again, just have a look if everybody is okay with this. So guys, it starts with this diagram, so where we are going to see everything like, just as a normal thing, then we zoom in into it, and then we start seeing, like, how it is really going to be made up of. Okay, so guys, just have a look. Another important thing, guys, This is going to develop from the Ratkes pouch. Okay, so this is very, very important. Always asked in your NEET exams, guys. Just have a look, everybody. We are going to do that. Don't worry. This is intermediate. Okay. What are acidophils called? Eosinophils. Eosinophils are acidophils. So see, we have basophils, we have acidophils, again neutrophils. Okay, everybody all right with this? Sure, no issues, guys. Let's try to move ahead. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry. Yes. Acha, guys, 5 minutes break. Okay, quickly. Anybody who wishes to go to the loo, have water, okay, go and come quickly. 5 minutes, we'll start again. Okay, we have to do the next part, that is your neurohypophysis. Okay, chalo. So guys, let's move ahead. Everybody back, guys. Okay, so now once again, let's try to go back into your neurohypophysis. So guys, once again, see, very, very important thing. Okay, chalo. So now next thing, neurohypophysis. Let's try to see what exactly happens out over there. Okay, so now guys, once again, I'll paste the same picture out over there. Arey re, shit. Okay, so once again, guys, we have the same picture. Okay, so we are focusing on the back part out over here, neurophysis, neurohypophysis. Like I said, this is going to be accounting for 25% of the total pituitary. But guys, one thing that we really need to know out over here is that when we talk about this, it does not produce any hormones of its own. Okay, so just keep this thing in mind, does not produce any hormones. And but it is just going to store the hormones from the neurosecretory cells of the hypothalamus. Okay, it stores stores hormones from neurosecretory cells, and it is going to release them as and when required. Okay, so one very important question that is asked in your NEET exam, guys: which part of the pituitary does not produce hormones of their own? So this is going to be the neurohypophysis. Okay, guys, it is a little trick question. Okay, but now, guys, once again, we need to just zoom into it and we need to see what are all the different parts. So we said median eminence, we have infundibulum and your pars nervosa. Okay, fine, but let's try to zoom in into it and let's try to see what exactly is going to happen. Okay, so once again, let's say this is our hypothalamus. Okay. Now, guys, when we talk about your hypothalamus, okay, now always remember, actually, 1 minute, let me just first draw the intermediate lobe. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Now, guys, one thing that you need to know. See, once again, what did I tell you, guys? See, it does not produce any hormone of its own, but it is just going to store the hormones from the neurosecretory cells. So, where are these neurosecretory cells present, guys? Neurosecretory cells, they are all going to be present in your hypothalamus. Okay, so let's try to see how does this thing really work. Like, what is happening out over there. Okay, so what we'll see is like we have certain cells. So we have these neurosecretory cells. They are all going to be perched in your hypothalamus. Okay, and now what you will see is their axons. अरे रे कलर दूसरा वापरना चाहिए था ठीक है चा 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 Okay, छोटा सा change. Okay, and what you will see is they are going to have their axons, and their axons are now going to be like really, really long, like this. Okay, and one very important thing that you're going to observe is, guys, that their axons are going to end into certain bodies. Now, what are these bodies, guys? These bodies we call them as Herring's bodies. Okay, so you are going to have these bodies. Okay, we call them as herrings. Okay. Now, One thing, once again, like I said, these are going to have these huge axons, and because of these huge axons, you're going to see that the pituitary, whatever those pituitary are there, those are going to be separated out. Okay, so this results into the separation of pituitary. So just like basically how we have like your like the neurons, or we have like hepatocytes, same way pituitary are the cells of your pituitary gland. So like this, so it helps in the separation of this. That is it. Okay, so this is what we really need to know. Okay, but now let's try to put down pituitary. Okay, let's try to put down all the information that we have. Okay, so the first one, guys, we will go from your median eminence. I told you this is going to be a small, swollen portion which is going to be on the top. Okay, so like this. That's it. That is what we need to know. Okay, so first thing, we are going to have median eminence. One thing, it is just a swollen portion at the base of the hypothalamus. And one important thing, okay, guys, the most important thing is that the infundibulum is attached out over there. Okay, so infundibulum is attached to the medium elements. That's it. That is what we need to know, guys. The second part, this is going to be the most important part. That is your infundibulum. Okay, because basically why it is going to connect. Okay, so I will just put this part out over here. Okay, so we have this infundibulum now, guys. This is going to be a very fragile part. Like I said, a small a hit onto this thing and it is going to knock off your entire pituitary. Okay, so what is this infundibulum going to do, and what is it generally, what is the job exactly? So guys, the first thing that it is going to do is attaches the pituitary to the hypothalamus. Okay, this is the first most important thing. Okay, fine. Okay, but now the second thing that you're going to see is, guys, this is going to consist, okay, that is, it shows the axons. Okay, it is mainly consists of axons of neurosecretory cells. Okay, that's it. That is what we need to know about your this thing. And once again, guys, these neurosecretaries as well, are they located? These are going to be from your hypothalamus. Okay, so that's it. That is what we need to know with regards to infundibulum, nothing more. Okay, but then the third thing, this is going to be the most important with regards to your information and all, guys. This is going to be your pars nervosa. And pars nervosa, what did we say, guys? This is going to be the largest part of your neurohypophysis. Okay, but now this next important thing, guys, what is this going to have? This is going to contain axons. Okay, axons of your neurosecretory cells contains axons, okay, of neurosecretory cells which separate the pituitary. Okay, now once again, these axons, where are they going to end? These axons, they are going to end into your herring bodies. The axons end into certain structures which are called in as herrings bodies. And what is the job of these herrings bodies, guys? These are going to store the hormones. Okay, these are going to store the hormones, and they are going to secrete it as and when required. And when required, that's it. That is what we need to know with regards to your entire the neurohypophysis, guys. This is it. The next thing we have to talk about is what are the different types of hormones produced by your the pituitary gland. So that is what we'll be doing next. Okay, but just have a look at this, guys. Just see if everybody is okay, if everybody's understood. Remember, this will highly be asked for, like, 4 marks. Okay, even see, as I told you, they used to ask this thing for 7 marks. So at the max, what they'll say is, what are the write a short note on your adenohypophysis for 4 marks, or write a short note on your neurohypophysis. Guys, always remember, these diagrams are included in this diagram, in this answer. Okay, so without the diagrams, your answer is incomplete. Okay, just have a look, guys. What's about hypothalamus, from where the axons are? That is part of hypothalamus only. Actually, they are all going to be present in the hypothalamus. I'm just showing hypothalamus as this line, but you are going to see hypothalamus extends like this. Then on the top there is going to be your thalami, and then on the top we have epithalamus, that way. But these are actually parts of your hypothalamus only. Okay. What are these herring bodies? Okay, once again, I'll just explain. See, what happens is, see, you are going to see that these neurosecretory cells, okay, so they are from the hypothalamus, they are continuously producing some of the other hormones, right? Now, see, I told you that neurohypophysis is not going to store any of the hormones. It is just, I mean, it is not going to prepare any of the hormones. It is just going to store the hormones. So what happens is, whatever hormone that is produced by these neurosecretory cells, it has to get stored somewhere or the other. So what we have seen is that all that hormone is going to be transported through the axons. Meaning, basically, just understand this thing. Okay, and now what are you going to see is that at the end of the axons, now you're going to start seeing these bulb like structures. See, generally we had seen the synaptic knobs and all, right? So rather than that, we are going to see these bulb like structures. We said that these bulb like structures are your herring bodies. And why are these herring bodies? Because what happens is, when we have observed them, we have seen that these are the ones which contains your hormones, and these hormones are going to be released. Now let's say you suddenly require thyroid stimulating hormones. So this is the posterior lobe, so oxytocin. So let's say you require oxytocin, so some amount of oxytocin is going to be released from here, that way. So this is how it is going to work. Okay, all right. Okay, guys, everybody all right with this? Let's try to move ahead. Okay, so today what I'll do is I'll give you a map of, like, what are the hormones which are produced by different kinds of the different parts, and then we'll move on to, like, how it is really going to work. Okay, so hormones of your pituitary gland. Okay, so guys, what are we going to see is, see, once again, I told you we are going to have three parts out over here. We have the anterior lobe, that is your adenohypophysis. Okay, okay, intermediate lobe is actually a part of adenohypophysis, but I'm separating it out over here because it does another job altogether. That is why intermediate lobe, and then neurohypophysis or posterior lobe. Okay, so guys, first of all, like when we talk about the anterior lobe, most of the hormones you're going to see it coming from here only. So, for example, guys, we have the first one, that is your growth hormone. Now, guys, growth hormone, other name for this, it is your somatotropin. Okay, next thing we are going to have your thyroid stimulating hormone or thyrotropin. Okay, so thyroid stimulating hormone, thyrotropin. Okay, third thing we are going to have adrenocorticotropic hormone. Okay, or we also call this thing as corticotropin. Okay, then next we are going to have your gonad stimulating hormone or gonadotropin. Okay, okay, gonadotropin. Then we are also going to have your prolactin. Okay, but now, guys, what happens is when we talk about this gonad stimulating hormone, basically, this is also going to be divided into two more things. Actually, what happens is what they have done is this year, basically, they have, like, included two, three in one group, but I'll just give you the right way. Okay, this gonad stimulating hormone, guys, whenever we talk about this is going to be divided into two parts. We have luteinizing hormone, that is your LH. Okay, so we have luteinizing hormone, LH. And the second one we have is your follicle stimulating hormone, FSH. Okay. And guys, there is one more recent addition out over here. Ultimately, you're also going to see GIP, gastric inhibitory peptide. If you remember, we had seen this thing in your digestive system, which is going to stop the motion, basically, so that you have maximum absorption of food. So we have gastric inhibitory peptide. That's it. That is what we need to know about the hormones of your anterior lobe. Second thing, if you look at your intermediate lobe, guys, here we are going to have only one. That is your intermediate. Okay, intermediate in your lower organisms. Okay, and fine. Let's try to see the next one, guys. Here, when we talk about your neurohypophysis, here we are going to have three things. Okay, so first one, guys, we have ADH, or this is going to be your antidiuretic hormone. Okay, ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Or the other name for this is, we also call it as vasopressin. Okay. Second thing, after this, we are going to have oxytocin. Guys, oxytocin, or also known as your love hormone. And third thing, we are also going to have your coherin. Okay, so these are the three different hormones produced by your neurohypophysis. Next class, when we come back, guys, we have to talk about what is the job of all these hormones, what are they going to really do, how they're going to affect your body, and if by any chance if you have hypo or hyper secretion of the same. Okay, everybody all right with this thing? Sure, understood how we are going to move ahead, guys. Right? And guys, one very important thing, like whatever we have done today, okay, I want you to revise it today itself, because this is right fresh in your minds right now. You can just take like half an hour more to read through this thing, and everything will be pit pat into your heads, guys. But if you miss it today and then you think that later down throughout the year, weekends and all, I'll do this, then by that time your memory is not that going to be good, so you'll have to redo all this thing again. So as far as possible, guys, just go through this again from this thing, also go through this from your textbook as well. Okay, so that will help you to understand in a better manner. Okay, fine. Sure. So guys, once again, we'll stop over here for the day, and I'll see you in the next class. Till then, take care. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye. Bye.